Hello everybody, this is going to be an educational tidbit about greedy farming items like Battle Fury and Radiance. So I'm going to use two games as examples. So this is the Terrorblade game, where I was playing Terrorblade against PA. And the subject of this video is talking about...
making a video.
The subject of this video is talking about greedy items like Radiance and Battle Fury, items that help you farm. And somebody in my chat asked me when to decide to go to these items. And I talked about pace of the game. My answer was pace of the game and whether or not I'm going to have time to farm with Battle Fury and Radiance and such.
Banana slam jam.
So the idea behind pace of the game, it stems from a lot of the stuff I've been talking to you guys about. Talks about like early lane pressure, tower pressure, the ability to shove waves, which team is going to have like map control and that kind of thing. So it's really important to understand these concepts. You have to start applying them at more than just what lane am I supposed to shove. It comes down to, now that we know how we want to play the map, we know how opponents are going to ideally play the map, we also have to know how these matchups go. So for you guys learning, it's important to gauge how matchups are going to play out. So I'm going to use these two games as an example. One where I'm playing TB against PA, and the other one where I'm playing PA against TB. And we're just going to conceptualize these games for you so that you can understand how certain matchups work. This is not only analyzing Battle Fury, Radiance, greedy items, but also analyzing a matchup. But it's more so just talking about, thinking about the pace of the game. So in this game, I had a Techies, a hero that's really good at stalling towers. So I know that in terms of relieving pressure, I'm going to have to do virtually nothing. I had a support that wants to just sit in the lane and defend my towers. So I picked a hero that wants to jungle early. And then on top of that, I picked a hero that wants to go on the aggressive side of the map. And I saw it against Undying Slardar. Slardar is not a very good matchup against TB because he's all about minus armor, and Terrorblade has a gajillion armor. And Undying's not good against Terrorblade because Undying has no stuns, and he can kill and Terrorblade can kill the Tombstone pretty quickly. So because of all that stuff, I picked Terrorblade, and they picked PA. So PA is a hero that applies virtually no pressure. I've talked about these heroes. These are PA's, Anti-Mage, I would say, are the two most notable examples. BSJ, why do these heroes apply no pressure? If you think about hitting a building, how often do you see a PA or an Anti-Mage taking a tower 8 minutes into the game? It just doesn't happen very often. These heroes don't innately push lanes very fast. They need items to push lanes, and then they don't do single target physical damage to towers, right? Both of their passives are a crit and a mana burn, which don't apply on towers. So what happens is, in terms of pace of the game, in this game, since they have very little D-push on their side, in this case, look at their lineup, their only wave clear nuke is a Rubik, and their guy last picked Ember. And the moment that guy last picked Ember, I said, this game should be pretty easy. Because pace of the game-wise, I'm going to be a Terrorblade that's going to walk down lanes, my Techies is going to defend every single tower, and I'm going to pressure two lanes at once, one with my Illusion, one with my hero. And because they have no D-push, I'm just going to kill all their buildings. And PA, who's going to go for a Battle Fury...
Shout out to Chewbacca ILZ and Fendog. Love you, BSJ.
And PA, who's going to go for a Battle Fury, is not going to be applying any pressure. So this comes down to them losing control of the map. That's what it's going to look like, right? So, like, if we were to pull up this game real quick, for those of you who do want to watch it, it will be available for 2 weeks on Open Dota. You can go to download the replay, and you can find out how to do that. You can also look at the date and pull up my stream. The date was 11/26, if you guys really want to watch the game. I want to show you guys like a snapshot of towers at 13 minutes into the game. And this is what it should look like. We have a mid tower, and they've lost 2 towers. They've taken 1, and we've taken 2. And what that means for the next foreseeable future, I'm going to be shoving all of these lanes, and there's going to be no pressure on me because Techies is defending me, while PA is going to be getting ran at by heroes, right? And it shows in our net worth lead, and it shows in my net worth in comparison to PA. And this all comes down from hero matchups, understanding how much tower pressure their team has, how much tower pressure my team has, and the ability of each team to stop each other. That's how this was assessed. So I said, I knew in my mind I was going to have all the space in the world to farm, while PA was going to be struggling to get areas to farm, and maybe she'll be able to get her triangle. But even in the early game, she's going to get ran at by a Legion, because they have very little deterrent for that. And I'm going to be jungling when they have very little deterrent for that, because I have a Techies defending my safe lane tier 1. So you see that in the net worth, you see it in the tower discrepancy. This is a pace of the game thing. For instance, if this was the game where I saw my lineup on this lineup and I saw the enemy team already picked Terrorblade, I would not pick PA. I would not be willing to pick PA because I know pace of the game wise, I'm going to lose control of the map if the Terrorblade were to push my buildings. So now, let's go to my other game real quick that I just played, where I'm playing PA against Terrorblade. So in this game, I was absolute last pick, and so was Sammy Boy on the Terrorblade. So going into this, I know with a hero like PA that the main concern is the lack of pressure that I apply on the map, and also the pressure the opponent can potentially apply on the map. I'm talking about lane shoving and tower taking. That is what I mean by pressure. So when I look at the first 4 heroes on their team, I see Mars, Void Spirit, Willow, and Ogre. Between those 4 heroes, none of them hit buildings. So I know if they're going to pressure, it's going to be in the carry role. And then on top of that, I know also that heroes that do pressure, such as Jug, are bad against PA. Heroes like Troll are bad in lane versus Leshrac. And heroes that are illusions are also bad against Leshrac. So I'm like, all the heroes that pressure buildings are bad for their heroes. They're not going to have a good pick that is good to pressure buildings, right? Think about it. What hero in the game can take towers early against Pango wave clear, Leshrac wave clear, Rubik wave clear, and as long as I have a good lane, which right now in the current patch, PA is an incredibly strong laner, then I'm going to have all the farm space in the world. So if you go back and watch this game, like if we, let me move my camera so we can show you guys the game ID if you're interested. Also the date, so if you want to see it on stream, you can go to my Twitch VODs and find it there. So if we go back to this game, where we take another snapshot, where I'm taking the snapshot from the moment in the game that a player should have Battlefield, right? So in the other game, I was around 14 minutes or whatever. In this game, or 12 to 14 minutes, same thing in this game, right? Looking at the towers, both teams have their towers. So that means, because Terrorblade relies on that extra bit of space, that extra bit of lane pressure, that PA is now favored in this matchup because she's the hero that early on in the game struggles against that early pressure. And as a hero that's going Battle Fury, my goal is to occupy my lane as long as possible because that prevents the opponent from taking my safe lane tier 1, which also prevents them from invading my farm space. The longer these tier 1s stay alive, the more time you're going to have to farm. And as we've talked about, especially on Battle Fury carries, Radiance is similar. It's just a different manner of farming, but it's still the same idea, is that you're going to farm Triangle on Battle Fury heroes. Maybe not on Radiance heroes, but it's still the same thought. On Battle Fury heroes, you're farming the Triangle. How does the opponent invade the Triangle? We've talked about this over and over. They take this tier 1, then they take this tier 1, and then they run into our Triangle. That is how they get our Triangle. So we have to assess their ability to take that tier 1. That is how we assess the pace of the game. I'm looking at a Terrorblade that's going to try to push into a Pangolier Leshrac. That just doesn't work. So if you don't know this stuff, that's fine. This is the stuff that you need to start thinking about, start learning, paying attention to in your games. This is how you start to assess timings, item builds, map pressure, movements, picking your hero in the draft. This is how you do it, okay? So what happens is, I built the bare minimum items to stay in lane. So people say, BSJ, I thought you bashed on going no boots Battle Fury. Well, how much do boots help you as PA against Mars? What do boots do for me? Think about it. What's the lane going to look like? It's him right-clicking and Wing me right-clicking and Qing him. Where in there do boots do anything? So I built Wraithband, Wand, and a Blightstone, because that's what I'm doing in lane, right? I'm hitting him, he's hitting me, we're trading, we're casting spells, and I occupied the lane as long as I humanly possibly could. And then I got ganked and booted out of lane. I didn't die, but I noticed how I'm low and I got booted out on my top lane. And I get this early Battle Fury. And in games where movement speed helps you survive, which there are games, it's going to be an item that I buy, right? It helps me occupy my lane. I'm going to buy the boots. But on a hero like PA, who not only doesn't need movement speed against Mars, but she also has a natural blink, so she doesn't need necessarily to have move speed to ever kill anybody, I'm going to skimp out on any items I can to get that Battle Fury, right? But I'm going to buy the number of items required to hold my lane. Because the last thing I want to do is go no boots, no items, Battle Fury, get booted out of my lane, and then lose that tier 1 at 9 minutes. Because then once I get my Battle Fury, I can't farm with it anyway. So why did I go naked Battle Fury? So people ask me, how many Wraith Bands do you buy? What boots do you buy? What do you buy wand? What do you buy? Whatever it takes to hold the fucking tier 1 as long as you humanly possibly can. How hard is that to understand? I'm actually chill, guys. I just get asked that question a lot. And hope you guys learned something from this video. Talking about the pace of the game, talking about envisioning matchups, talking about when to think about going Battle Fury. Because all of these map pressure things, this decides when you fight people. Battle Fury, the worst thing you can have is the need to fight the opponent when all you have is a Battle Fury. And if all your towers are alive, or at least the tower count is close to even, then you're completely content not fighting them with a Battle Fury, which means you're farming, which means you're accelerating yourself, which means you scale better, and which means you'll most likely win the game. So thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that. And like, subscribe, comment, all that bullshit that I'm supposed to tell you to do.